What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Back with my original segment, Boxing Ego's First Look, where I give you a sneak peek, a preview of the fight before the fight. Tail of the tape, less opinions, more facts. Let's get it in. March 4th, it goes down. O2 Arena in London, and you have a domestic rivalry. The guys don't like each other. That's a heavyweight bout between David the Haymaker Haye, who also formed the Hayemaker Ringstar promotion. So he's a boxer, he's a promoter. He's somewhat fresh off a hiatus and retirement. He came back, I think it was last year, after a 3-year retirement layoff, and he's back. He's looking after the top names, the Joshua Klitschko winner, and the big fights like that. To get to those, he has to beat a guy named Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew went from light heavyweight, got a title at cruiserweight, and he's been looking good at cruiserweight. Now he's going up again to settle this score. The two have sparred in the past. They know each other well, and Haye claims to be the one to stop Bellew at heavyweight, at the higher weights. Bellew has been stopped at light heavyweight by Adonis Stevenson, but since, like I said, he's moved up to cruiserweight, got a title there as the WBC champion at cruiser, and now he's settling the score. In terms of heights, they're pretty close, and Bellew definitely has the frame to move up. It's just they've both fought at cruiserweight. It's just that Haye hasn't fought at cruiserweight in quite some time, so he's given himself a lot of time to acclimate to the newer division. But this is going to be an interesting fight. According to Tony Bellew, the two have sparred in the past years ago, and he says he's just taking it for what it's worth, but he said he was working David Haye over in the sparring at that particular point. Now, that doesn't mean that'll be the case here. Maybe it is. Maybe there's things he can pick out or things that he noticed in Haye's fight game that he remembers. But this is a very interesting fight, not necessarily the most meaningful, but is certainly intriguing, and it puts me in the mindset of Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte, which turned out to be a 2016 fight of the year, where the build-up, there was a lot of banter, a lot of talking that actually transitioned to the fight. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes there's a lot of talk in the WWE and the throwing tables and chairs and stuff like that, choking and punching people at the press conference, and then the actual fight doesn't deliver. But Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte deliver, and I think this type of fight, Haye Bellew, based on how they've been talking, I think it will deliver. I think they're both going to train right, and I think they're both going to put it out on the line, and I think this fight could have the action, the drama that we like from heavyweight fights. So props to Tony Bellew for being confident in his ability and clearly not being afraid. You can't say he's afraid. He's the one moving up in weight, and he's the one that's been pushing and calling for the David Haye fight. He said, this is where I want to fight, and I'm going to knock him out. And then David Haye, much of the same. He's saying, I'm going to knock out the Bellew, and he's going to be one of the most brutal knockouts in British history. And the two, I don't know what it is, but the two do not like each other, right? And I guess it happens in the fighting sport, but usually there's some camaraderie when you spar with a guy, and you become friends. They're on your payroll and stuff like that. But with these two, that has not been the case. I like this. It opens up. If David Haye wins, then obviously he said he's targeting Joshua Klitschko, and he'll be moving up in the ranks, or he'll be ranked probably third or so, and he just has to stay unbeaten since his return from retirement and whatnot. But that certainly becomes a possibility if he gets past Bellew. As far as Bellew, I mean, he's the man. If he knocks out or beats a heavyweight, then he's the guy that fought and beat the guy with the odds stacked against him. He can choose to go back to cruiserweight. If he wants, he can stay up at heavyweight. I don't know what kind of campaign he can have at heavyweight, because even though he's 6'3" and he's pretty big, I'm just questioning it because he's been stopped at light heavyweight, and some of those guys are just like gargantuan, like Tyson Fury, Klitschko, and Joshua are like 6'6". You know what I mean? Those guys are extremely big, and a lot of them, the top guys, Deontay Wilder, Joshua, Klitschko, Luis King Kong Ortiz, they all pack a massive punch. So if he does beat David Haye, that'll be a huge upset based on the size differential, and he's free to go back and fight at cruiserweight, star in another Creed movie, whatever he wants to do. He's the man. Now let's take a look at the tail of the tape. David Haye has a record of 28-2. One of those losses, of course, to Klitschko in the infamous pinky toe fight. And Tony Bellew has a record of 28-2-1. One of those losses was a stoppage at light heavyweight to Adonis Superman Stevenson. Age pretty close. David Haye, 2 years older, age 36, to Tony Bellew's 34 years of age. Now, this is important, especially since you have Bellew, who's moving up past cruiserweight to the heavyweight division. The heights are identical. They're both 6'3", but obviously David Haye made the plunge from cruiserweight to heavyweight long before Tony Bellew. So size may matter. Size does matter in general. And this fight is being contested at heavyweight, so there is no actual weight that they have to weigh in for. Both guys, just from knowing them in the past, I would probably say Haye will be anywhere. He's packed on some muscle, so he's probably going to be 226 to 242. I don't know exactly where. And since this is Tony Bellew's first hurrah at the actual heavyweight, he has the frame to do it, but I have no idea what he's going to weigh in since I haven't seen him at heavyweight previously. Reach, the advantage goes to David Haye, 78-inch reach, to Tony Bellew, 74-inch reach. So it looks like on paper the odds are stacked against the smaller man. He's the one that's been stopped before. Haye has been stopped too earlier in his career at cruiserweight, I believe it was. But the difference is Haye has had a lot more time to acclimate to the heavyweight division, and like I said, he made the cruiserweight plunge upward and went north way before Tony Bellew. So this will be a catastrophic upset, if you will, because Haye is very confident and he's the bigger man naturally. He had more time to acclimate and get used to this division. He carried up his speed, he carried up his muscles, size. So if Tony Bellew comes here and pulls the upset, which he's probably the underdog, it'll be a massive underdog. And this is a guilty pleasure type of fight. Not necessarily the most meaningful fight at heavyweight unless the underdog wins. But it's a guilty pleasure because I still want to see it. These guys have sold the fight. They've made it entertaining. They're punching each other at press conferences. There's back and forth banter. You have Haye calling Bellew, Bellew, and Tony Bellew is calling him names. It's just a lot of back and forth. It puts me in the same frame of mind as Dillian White versus Derek Chisora, another domestic battle, which actually turned out to be a fight of the year for that particular year. So I think this has all the makings to translate to high energy, high action, and high drama, and just overall be a good fight at the heavyweight division. If Bellew does pull the upset, if he does win, I don't know what his plans are. If he has a belt at cruiserweight, so I don't know if he plans to go back down and this is like a once and done. He just wanted to shut David Haye up. But I like Tony Bellew's confidence here because he sparred David Haye in the past, and from his telling of the sparring, he did very well, and David Haye wasn't looking great, but that was some years ago. But Tony Bellew, I haven't really seen him appear petrified or scared, and this is clearly a fight he did not have to take. I mean, he's a champion at cruiserweight, WBC champion. He just beat BJ Flores, who's friends with David Haye, in a great fashion. He stopped him. So clearly he could have pursued other options. You got Usyk, who just started making noise, and he's a champion at cruiserweight. You have Andrew Tabiti, you know what I'm saying? You got some guys up there. So he clearly didn't have to move up to heavyweight, but he believes in his skill, and he believes that he's the man to beat David Haye for the first time since his hiatus and retirement and stuff like that. So let's see it. He'll be the first person to defeat him since Klitschko. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know your fight predictions. How does this play out? Are you giving Bellew a shot, or is it the Haye show, the Hayemaker? Drop all that in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.